everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we're going to be using some products from the new Suqqu collection. Some of these are permanent, some of these are limited edition. We'll go through them, I'll tell you what's already on my face, and it's all Suqqu. Show you the eye look, and let's talk a little bit about Suqqu and what products I think are worth picking up. It gets a little complicated when it gets to Suqqu, but we'll dive into that. So hey everybody, first of all, what's on my face is the Suqqu foundation. This is in shade 210. So this is the cream foundation, comes in this little jar. It's exactly what you think it is. It's a cream foundation. It's very moisturizing, works extremely well on dry skin. It's very creamy, very emollient, leaves a beautiful finish on the face. I love this foundation. I think very, very highly of it. I would recommend it to anyone who has average to dry skin because it is a cream foundation and has, I wouldn't say it's a glowy finish, but I'd say it's skin-like finish. I think you could go from a little bit oily to very dry. I think very oily skin probably wouldn't be the best choice. They are coming out with a new foundation. My understanding is the beginning of March here in the US. Overseas it will be issued before that, and I don't know if, for each country, but my understanding for the US it's March. And I'm definitely gonna pick it up because I love Suqqu and I think they do an amazing job with their products. On my eyes is the Suqqu 3D 101 Brow Palette, which looks like this. Let me take the little brush out so it doesn't fall. As I think I mentioned in one of my other videos, Geeta was kind enough to pick up this for me when she did her order at Selfridges. This was limited edition. This is the one for redheads, auburn hair. I don't think this is coming back, and I do think it's difficult to find. They do have other brow products, but the one that is considered for auburn, this was a limited edition item. I really like it. I think it works extremely well. The way I use it is similar to the way I use the Gucci pencil. I sort of pencil, I go in with the powder, and then I use the Kosas brow gel over it to get my brows to sort of stay up. I think it works extremely well. I really like it. Do I think it's one of those things that you must have? No. The Gucci pencil is excellent. Still love the Gucci pencil. And the Kosas brow gel works wonders for me. But it is a very nice product and it works extremely well. The cream shadow that's in here, because you're probably wondering, you're like, well, it's brow. This is actually for your eyelid, like in the brow area to highlight it, which I think is a really nice touch, and it's very soft. The other powders are more gritty because they're for the brow, but it works really, really well. On my lips is Suqqu liner. I think I remember the liner number I have because they come in these refillable ones, but I think they come in like a lip holder and then you get the refill. I think it's 01. I'll write it down in the description box. It's a good pinky nude, really like that. Works well for me pretty much all the time. I do like the Suqqu liners. I think they're excellent. And the lip is the Sheer Matte Lipstick number 12. This is not limited edition, so you can pick this up. The sheer mattes in Suqqu are excellent because although they are, quote, sheer mattes, what they really are satin mattes, in my opinion. They're not sheer. That's not sheer. They're sheerer than a matte, a full opaque matte is, absolutely. But they're incredibly comfortable. They feel satiny. They don't feel matte-like at all. Again, I'm not a huge matte formula person, but these are excellent. Really comfortable. So if you like a shade like this, which is kind of, it's got a little bit of warmth to it, but I'd say it's like a pinky nude leading towards peach. That is the 07. And again, that's still available. I'm sorry, 12, not 07, 12. Still available. You can buy it on Selfridges, Harrods, Liberty London, and I think Cult Beauty. I think those are all the ones. Suqqu is unfortunately not available in the United States. So that is why for myself and many of the people who are interested in the product line in the United States, we order from Selfridges or Harrods, which incurs, of course, a shipping charge. Selfridges has a counter that many times will let you order ahead of time, which is great. They're really good. They're very nice people. And you save on, shipping costs. Sometimes if you buy like a certain amount, you also save on additional taxes. I don't remember how all that stuff goes, but I do try to let you guys know that, you know, when Selfridges is coming out with a collection, you can order from Selfridges counter, etc. You can also buy things online. This year I bought things online. This collection I bought online. I did not go through the counter this time because this collection wasn't as, it didn't call to me as much as earlier collections. Plus I have a lot of Suqqu. I have pretty much like every quad that's been introduced in the last 2 years. I have the blush palettes, I have the face palettes, I have the sheer lips, I have they're liquid lips, I forgot what they're called. I have those. I mean, they have great stuff. They have great products. But with everything that I was ordering, I didn't just want to do like a whole nother, you know, batch of orders for Suqqu for the limited edition items, because the limited edition items, as I said, are very difficult to get because you either have to wait until, like in the US, 3 o'clock in the morning to order them, or 5 o'clock in the morning from Selfridges or Harrods or whatever, or you have to pre-order. Again, the pre-ordering is easy. It's not like it's difficult to do, but you have to plan it ahead. And for me, with work and everything else, I just, this year I was like, okay, this collection. But what I did do is I picked up 3 of the new blushes. This is the melting formula blushes. They're different formula than the old blushes, so I definitely wanted to pick them up. And I can tell you that the old formula was amazing. So the fact that I've heard that this is better is just shocking to me because the old formula was pretty impressive. I picked up a pinky shade, a peachy shade, and the lavender shade, which I'll show you in a minute, which is probably the most unique shade. I think it's gonna work better as a highlighter on me, but we'll find out. I think it's 08 quad with the green in it, that teal in it. I definitely want that. I think it's beautiful. But I didn't pick that up. What I picked up was the 112 eyeshadow quad because this is the limited edition and it was available online. I got this at Harrods. I was able to get it, so I was like, you know what, I will pick it up since it wasn't particularly hard for me to do. It wasn't 5 o'clock in the morning, it was 10 o'clock at night. And so I did pick up the 112. So I will show you that today. And I'll put it on my eye and I'll do a really easy look with it. Because again, today I just talk a little bit about Suqqu and really focus on the blushes because I think the blushes are, are really unique and frankly, new formula. So let's do the eye look first. I'm just gonna swatch this on my hand. So like I said, the 08 with the teal in it, I'll put a picture above. I really want that and I am gonna buy it. But since I can only get it overseas, I'm going to have to place an order and then deal with shipping. So I'm waiting for when I need to order, a whole bunch of things because it's just not worth it with the expense of shipping. It's just not worth it. So here's the 112. These are all shimmer shades. This looks more a little bit like a glitter, but it's a little hard to tell. And this, of course, is matte. I'm gonna do a very simple look today. I think Suqqu lends itself to that. One of the things I think that has appealed to a lot of people about Suqqu is this new, I think it's been popular for a while, but I think it's becoming more popular, which is why I think it's harder to get. Because, and I mentioned this in my Tom Ford Tiger Eye video, I think a lot of people are moving to a no makeup look. And when I say no makeup look, I mean you have a tinted moisturizer or a foundation that looks skin-like or dewy. You have an eye look that is light and ethereal and kind of, simple, or at least deceptively simple. Because as we all know, when you make something look simple and elegant, it usually is tougher to create than people would ever know. But, the shades that are maybe earth tones, I think are going to be very popular this year. You've seen a lot of the linear artwork, makeup work, where there's literally like lines and kind of object. The Euphoria look, the show that's on, I think it's on HBO Max. I never know what channel things are on, but has a very like glittery, dewy makeup look. The foundation is practically like not there. It's a very skin-like look because these are teenagers that the show is talking about. So the skin is very fresh and very dewy, and if there's foundation, it's very light. I happen to know they use the Chantecaille Future Skin on that show, so they keep the look very, very light. And the eye looks are kind of messy, and you know, glittery, and they're over the top, but in a very different way than the very structured look that we might be used to with all the contouring and everything else. That doesn't really seem to be the trend. It seems to be we're moving away from that. Now, don't get me wrong, I've never followed a trend in my life. Well, that's not true. When I was younger, I must have followed some trend. I'm sure when I was a teenager, I followed some trends. Don't get me wrong. But I was never somebody who was really like, oh, that's the thing to do or wear. I always had my own weird way of doing things. I'd be like, no, I want to do this. I really should have been an artist. But anyway, instead of a lawyer. But yeah, I'm not a person who follows trends, but I do notice trends. And I also think it's interesting to pick up on trends because, you know, that's how your makeup is going to be affected. And what I mean by that is like new collections that come out, you know, you'll start to see like when the contouring hit its peak and everyone was, you know, all of a sudden contouring, you saw so many more contouring products than you'd ever seen in your life. When I was young, there was no such thing as a contouring product. You basically took your blush and contoured your face with it. That was contouring. And now, of course, that look is back. I forget what it's called, but basically where you put the blush like around your eye and up in here. It's, you know, there's nothing new under the sun. But again, so I think, you know, we're gonna see more natural looks. I think we're gonna see more earth tones. We're gonna see a lot of lip balms. Already seen a lot of lip balms. I'm actually gonna do a video on all the ones that I have. And I do have the Yves Saint Laurent Candy Glazes. Those might be my favorite. I'm gonna have swatches on those soon. Don't quote me on that, but they might be my favorite. I'm really a fan of the Yves Saint Laurent Up Shines. I've always really liked those. And I have to tell you, these are like the Volupte Shines, but thicker. And there's still that watermelon taste, smell, which I love. I know everybody doesn't like that, but I love it. Like watermelon Jolly Rancher. And they feel really good on the lips. I have number 4 and number 2, and I have to say, there's been quite a few lately that I've been impressed by, but yeah, I'll do a whole video on it so you guys can see. But like I said, I think there's a trend towards this kind of look. You know, this 112 kind of epitomizes what I'm talking about. It's typical for Suqqu, because Suqqu's always had these types of looks, but I think this has become more popular lately, and I've seen a lot more makeup starting to come out that kind of looks like this, that has more of that ethereal look to it, a little bit more sparkle, a little bit more glow, but still like earthy toned, if you know what I mean. So I'll bring you in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see what I mean by the eyes are like sparkly, but light, ethereal looking, but you know, different. There's a little bit of glitter, not too much glitter, but a little bit. It's pretty. It's a very pretty look. It's a very light look. There's not a ton of pigment in this quad. I would say that the brown shade, the matte shade, is really the only one that has like a tremendous amount of, it doesn't even have a tremendous amount of pigment, but pigment. The rest of the shades are pretty ethereal looking, but I think that's the purpose of the look. I mean, I think that's literally what they were trying to do. And Suqqu has done that before. Suqqu has had many palettes that resemble this type of look. But I think it's very pretty, and it's just very light, and it's very forgiving, actually. Even though there's some glitter in here, and you can see it under my eye, there's like some fallout in this area. It does look good on a more mature eye. It's not that kind of pressed glitter where it makes you look older. It's not that at all. It's a very complimentary look. But if you're not looking for something that's shimmery and kind of a little bit glittery, I think the 08 and 07 are going to be more to your liking. And I'm definitely going to pick up the 08. So when I have that, I'll do a video on it. So let me just put on a little bit of mascara and then we'll try out the blushes. Okay. A little bit of mascara on and let's try out the blush formulas. So the shades that I picked up are 01, 02, and 04. So here are the blush shades. We've got the 01 in the middle, we've got 02 here, and then this is 04. I didn't pick up the 03. I think there's 8 blushes. I think there's 8. I picked up 3 because I was like, okay, let's try the different shades, see what we think. We don't need 8 blushes, Jennifer, because I don't. I have so many blushes. Okay, so let's try the 01. I will say the formula is incredibly smooth. It feels very creamy and soft. It reminds me a little bit of the new Tom Ford eyeshadow formula, which, by the way, I have been told, and I haven't been able to check it yet because of work, but I have been told it's the exact same ingredient list as Cocoa Mirage. So if you watch my Tom Ford video when I was like, gosh, these seem really similar in nature, and why do I love these so much? Because I loved Cocoa Mirage. Again, I haven't been able to confirm this, but it looks like they're the same ingredient list. So, which is interesting to say the least, but still awesome because Cocoa Mirage was a fabulous formula. Okay, so this is 01. I think you can see it's lavender. It's a lavender blush. I don't know how that's gonna work on my skin tone, but we're gonna try it. All right, so let's do 02, which is a pink shade. Yeah, these definitely have a very soft, cream-like consistency. Beautiful, I mean, really beautiful. And you can tell, and I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about, it has that same effect when you put your finger in it that it has in the Tom Ford, that it changes the color of the product because it's reacting to the oils in your skin. It's the exact same thing that happens in the Tom Ford. It's really interesting. All right, so now here's the 04. The 04 is gonna be my favorite, but that's 01, that's 02, that's 04. I don't think any of these have glitter or, no, they're just creamy. Let's try the 01 first and see what happens. Let's use the KZ04 cheek brush. This is Chikuhodo brush. So let's use like I said, let's start with the lavender. Let's do the 01. Let's just see. I'm doing a very soft brush because I just want to see how it looks on my skin. So on my skin, with a very soft brush, you get a beautiful look, but it doesn't look like blush on me. I think with a deeper skin tone, you're gonna have more of a contrast. On my skin, you just get a very light, it's pretty. It's like actually, reminds me of the lavender powder that Dior has, that Givenchy has as well. A little hair on my face. It's very smoothing. I think the lavender actually is light reflecting too, and it's very pretty on the skin, but it doesn't really look like blush on my skin because I am so pale. And it's close to, let's face it guys, it's close to my skin color. So, all right, let's try 02, which is the pinky shade. Again, we're going in light. We're gonna just see how this looks. We can always, you know, go with a deeper brush, a denser brush. So we're putting it like a little bit on top of the purple, the lavender. Actually, that's very pretty. It does melt. Yeah, that's impressive. Look how beautiful that is. Soft, but pigmented, and just melts right into the skin. Wow. I've always liked the Suqqu blushes. They're beautiful on. They always give just a great luminosity to the skin and they blend beautifully. And this is even better. That just, I mean, look at that. It just looks seamless. All right, let's try 04. And yes, I'm mixing shades, but why not? Let's use it like kind of a little bit underneath. Yeah, it still looks stunning. Even with mixing like 3 shades that aren't at all the same color story, that's stunning. Can you see what I mean by like it just sort of sunk in, like it melted? Yeah. These are beautiful. Wow. Okay. The thing is just kind of pulling it, the browner shade, almost like a little bit of a contour. Yeah, that looks really nice, guys. This is a beautiful, beautiful blush. It blended right in. It's perfect on the skin. I wish you could see it here in person. It just melds with the skin. That's definitely worth picking up. So the question, of course, is do I go back and pick up all the other blushes? What I'll tell you is I don't think I'm gonna do that because I have so many blushes. I mean, I have all the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate blushes. I have all my old Chanel blushes. I have a bunch of Suqqu blushes. I have Dior blushes. I actually love Dior blushes. Laura Mercier blushes. I have a lot of blush. But I have to say, this rivals the way that the old Chanel looks on the skin, which is saying a lot, because the old Chanel was just perfect. So the question is going to be longevity. Like, how long do these last on the skin? Because that was the other thing about Chanel. Yes, it blended beautifully with the skin, but it also like lasted for like 10 hours. So I'll give you an update on how this lasts, but right now I'm pretty impressed. I will definitely consider picking up more shades, like maybe shade number 3 and number 5, or maybe all of them. I try not to do that. I really have been trying to be very careful and more discerning about picking up, things I'm not going to use. But these are beautiful. They look amazing on the skin. I'm very impressed. I wish I could read the back of it. I can't. Yeah, 12 months shelf life, which, is pretty average. I will tell you though, all the blushes I have, I've kept way longer than 12 months once opened, including some of my old Chanel blushes are ancient and they still work perfectly. Not saying that you should keep things past their expiration date, but powders, in my opinion, can last a very long time, especially if they're in a dry climate and kept out, there's no moisture, not in the sun, those things. I have to say, the funny thing about Suqqu is every time I tell myself, like, I'm not gonna buy the whole Suqqu collection. Like I did this collection, I'm like, no, I don't need it. Every time I use Suqqu, I'm impressed with how it looks. Every time I do it, every time I use Suqqu, I think my skin looks great, my eyes look pretty, and I don't see any wrinkles or crepiness to my lids. The blushes and the highlighters were always beautiful. The lips always look plump but not done up. I hands down have to say that Suqqu is the only collection where every time I pick something up, I've been more impressed by it once I put it on my face. Other collections, I'm always like, oh my goodness, it looks so gorgeous in the pan. And then I put it on my face and I'm like, it's okay. But this Suqqu, it's always like, oh, I don't need it. It doesn't look that great. And then I put it on my face and I'm always like, wow. I think that's the thing about Suqqu. Like, it's kind of underwhelming. The packaging is beautiful, actually, I think. Very simple, very elegant. I get fingerprints all over it, but very simple, very elegant. I like the packaging. And they carry it through to like their mirrors. I have a Suqqu mirror, the same kind of thing. It's very simple, it's very elegant, but it's a great mirror. That's the thing about Suqqu. It's got this understated elegance to it, And I think sometimes what I do is I look at the quads or the lips and I'm like, oh, that's not anything special. That doesn't look that great in the pan or in the, and then I put it on my face and I'm always like, wow, that makes me look like me, but better, which is I think what we're all trying to do. So Suqqu A has my apologies for not pumping it up more than I do, but also just, you know, like I said, it is difficult to get here in the United States. So, but I can't argue that the result is worth it, because every time, I'm gonna say it for the 9th time now, every time I use it, I'm like, wow, that looks great. It does, it just looks good. Okay, so I will let you know about the longevity of the blushes. I'll make sure there's an update on that. I will be definitely picking up the 08, like I said, the quad, and I'll do a look with it. I'll probably pick up some more blushes because this is really, really nice. As long as it doesn't fade. Like if it's still here in, you know, 5 or 6 hours. I'll be definitely picking up the new Suqqu foundation when it's released. I believe, like I said, it's March. And I'll keep you up to date. If you have any questions about Suqqu or this in comparison, or the blushes in comparison to older blushes or the lipstick compared to other lipsticks, let me know, because I have a lot of Suqqu, like a lot. And I can do swatch comparisons for you guys on Instagram. So let me know what kind of comparisons you'd like to see. Or if you'd like to see comparisons with this and another brand. Like if you want to see it against Chanel or against Dior or against Tom Ford or whatever. And as all of you know who have watched me for a while, I do have a full-time job, a more than full-time job. So sometimes it does take me a little while to get to these things, but I do remember them, I do write them down, and I try to get to them as quickly as I can. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.